let's talk schedule. The 2025 schedule was released by the Big Ten, and man, they waited a long time. In fact, this was the latest I could ever remember in my lifetime that we've waited to get a Nebraska football schedule, other than the COVID year when they had to change it like multiple times.
And there it is.
But you take a look at this schedule
Thank you, Megan.
for Nebraska. And that Cincinnati game is a neutral site game, still to be determined. All signs point to that game going to Arrowhead Stadium. I know both officials are planning on that, and that's going to happen. They're close to announcing that. They need to get it figured out, though, if the game is on a Thursday or a Saturday.
You're saying officials from both teams?
Yes. This is Cincinnati's home game. And they if the game is played at Lucas Oil Stadium, I mean, I don't know if they could fill that, right? It'd be hard to have that many Nebraska fans go out there.
Hard.
It's a hard trip.
Easier in there.
Kansas City, you could fill 75,000 in there.
I would think so.
And the reason they're doing that is for NIL. They need the money to pay for the revenue share.
Cincinnati does.
It's their home game. Like this is not Nebraska deciding this. This is a gift to Nebraska.
It is a major gift because it'll be a home game.
It's a gift to the city of Kansas City, who has not benefited off Nebraska money for sporting events in decades.
It is the gods, the football gods saying, "My God, Nebraska, just do something."
Remember how much time we used to have to go to Kansas City for Big 12, Big 8? I mean, it was crazy. Like,
I know.
We have been there like for games.
We used to go there all the time. I knew it very well. I could get around easy. Yeah, it's odd. Okay, rest of schedule.
Akron, Houston Christian. Sybil and I were at Houston Christian this year.
Don't lose that game. I mean, come on.
Their stadium. I'm not kidding you. So they have the grandstand side at Houston Christian, like where one side of the bleachers are. The other side, which would be the visitor bench side, a Walgreens.
Right.
Is like, I mean, you could like walk out behind the fence,
right,
and go in the Walgreens and buy a 2-liter bottle.
What we're trying to say is that Nebraska is to use a word that you use a lot these days, well-heeled Big Ten institution, playing a little school. I mean, we were there because we were there for the satellite camp.
Oh, freaking Walgreens is in there.
Yeah, they'll have players. They will. It's Houston. But come on.
But yeah, the Big Ten draw, Michigan could be having Bryce Underwood as its starting quarterback in Lincoln, the number one quarterback in the nation, number one player in the nation. Then you have Michigan State, who will be in a year 2. So you figure they'll be a lot better under Jed Fish in year 2.
No, Jonathan Smith.
Why did I say Jed Fish?
Jonathan Smith. Yes. It's okay.
Jed Fish is at Washington.
Yeah, he's at Washington. Maryland
on the road. That's an interesting game. You got to figure Maryland, Minnesota. One of those two is the Friday game. That's my prediction today. Unless UCLA late in the year. What do you think?
No, I think Maryland. I think it'll be a Friday night game. That's what I think.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Okay, then at Minnesota, you're saying Minnesota could be Friday night.
Could be Friday as well.
Right.
Then you get a nice home stretch there, Northwestern, USC, and then you go on the road again you talk about coast-to-coast travel in 3 weeks. You get a bye week there, but it's a 3-week stretch there. UCLA on the road, bye week, Penn State on the road, then short week Iowa. That last month of November, tough. It's a tough month.
And Nebraska has not been good in November for some time, right? They got their win against Wisconsin this year, good. But if you look at Nebraska's November record for the last few years, there's no way to sugarcoat it. It's just bad. I wish I had it in front of me. I don't. But the schedule is, I'd say, conducive to having a good season if you take advantage of it. But I'm not playing this game again where I say, wow, Sean, look at the first 5 games.
I see 9 wins in there.
No, I see 5-0. No, I'm not doing this. You won't catch me doing it.
The Cincinnati one,
you could see 5-0. I could see 3-2.
The Cincinnati game, though, if it's in Arrowhead, they got to win that game. And then you can go to Michigan 3-0. That's huge because Akron's a bottom MAC team and Houston Christian's FCS. So, 3-0 in Michigan needs to happen. I mean, I think we both agree with that. And then from there, how good's Michigan going to be?
They're not going to be as good on defense because they're losing a lot up front.
But they're portal. They're going to be aggressive.
Yeah,
they're going to get guys there.
That's another thing about these scheduled discussions.
Like Indiana last year at this time, we're like, oh, what a great break.
Right? How do you assess these teams before the portal players visit campus? How do you do it? I mean, you're going on. There's some things to go on, like program history does matter. Recent results matter to a certain extent, but there's a big void in the conversation, and that is probably for Nebraska, 6 starters out of the portal minimum, probably, right? Could you see 6 portal guys starting for Nebraska next year
on both sides?
Yeah, combo.
Yeah, between the O-line, receiver, obviously
linebacker,
the D-line, and linebacker. I mean, there's maybe in the secondary at a safety spot, maybe a specialist too,
punter, long snapper, maybe.
Yeah, they're going to be aggressive. Like Matt Rule hinted at that. They have the money to come after guys.
Yeah, they're moneyed. Nebraska's in the upper echelon, and when I say upper echelon, I'm not talking top 5, but I mean they're a top 30 money team, right? Wouldn't you say?
Hey, and I want to address this. There was a study that came out, like just an independent kind of data-driven, not fact-driven, just data-driven. And
what was it?
It ranked the NIL collectives in terms of their money.
Okay.
And it couldn't have been more than. I mean, it was completely false.
Oh, it was.
Yeah, well, yeah, because they don't have that data. Like nobody has that data.
Right.
Like they had Oregon at 10 million. Okay, that's all you got to know. Do you think the number 1 ranked team in the nation is at 10 million?
No, they're much more than that.
They had Indiana's NIL ahead of Oregon's.
Okay,
but of course they had Nebraska low because of the this other factor. I don't know what the factor.
You just discredited it. Fine. You did a good job of discrediting it by 2 facts. Oregon at 10 million. Come on. And Indiana above Oregon.
But it's bad publicity for Nebraska to make it seem like you're a bottom collective.
They're not.
No.
And they'll have in Nebraska, when revenue sharing takes hold, we'll have the full amount, which a lot of schools won't.
Plus the collective.
Yeah.
But yeah, back to that schedule. You get USC in Lincoln in November. USC generally doesn't travel this far in November. Even when they play Notre Dame, it's usually in October.
I'm not worried about USC fans taking over Memorial Stadium.
No, but I'm saying getting them to come out here and weather.
Oh, yeah. Good point.
It's the only game on their schedule where they travel into the Big Ten in November.
It could be a factor.
So it wasn't
a factor for UCLA, though.
Eric Bieniemy had his day that day.
Yes. I like this schedule for a number of reasons, one of which is you get those logos here, Michigan and USC, which I love. I love that this new part of college football where those traditional programs come into your stadium. It's beautiful. I love that we're going out to LA again. That was a fun trip for us. And it'll be fun going into Pasadena, right? A beautiful setting for a college football game. Penn State, it's historic. It's a historic venue, but rough trip.
I think my early big picture goal is on this schedule. Can you do enough early to make that November month relevant?
Yeah,
like that last month needs to be relevant, where those games have meaning.
Okay.
But I want to bring this up too. Did you see Wisconsin's schedule?
I've heard it's terrible.
Now they're not playing Nebraska. Okay.
I've heard it's bad.
But look at it goes Alabama, Maryland. But okay, after pull it up to Michigan and below Michigan, Megan, or the games after. There you go. 4 weeks in a row: Michigan, Iowa, Ohio State. Oregon.
That's awful. Well, then Washington at Indiana. Oh my God.
I mean, it's a schedule that gets a coach fired. And then I mean,
even at Minnesota's a bear. They just lost to them on their home field.
Yeah.
And blow my nose. Hold on.
I can't even imagine. Barry Alvarez is not in there anymore, but in the Barry Alvarez era tied to Wisconsin, I just can't imagine they would get that schedule under him.
What kind of schedule is that?
Like, can you imagine if Barry saw the drafts of the schedule and he was still their AD? Oh,
that's wicked. That's wicked.
I mean, for all we know, Barry signed off on this.
Easy, Tiger. Come on. I doubt it.
No, but Iowa, Ohio State, Oregon, Michigan, all in a row.
Yeah.
No bye weeks.
I mean, if that should the good news is if you're a Wisconsin player worth your salt, you'll be very motivated by it.
I said on the Red Sea Scrolls, there's not one Nebraska fan that feels sorry for Wisconsin's schedule.